One of my first experiences with mindfulness was when I was in college, but I didn't know it till 20 years later when I was working in psychiatry with military veterans with PTSD. So when I was in college, I was taking writing classes, and one of the exercises we did was called a steeplechase. So we would start the timer and start writing from whatever perspective we wanted to. First person, second person, third person. Then the teacher would say, stop, shift perspectives. So then you'd have to shift. You might write from an opposite character, from an overall narrator, from a different kind of voice, from a fairy tale perspective. And we did this 9 different times. And so it really took us outside of ourselves and into observing, inside listening, shifting. And what that did was allow the sensory experiences of what's happening here, but not being stuck. And so what I learned years later working with PTSD is when we have a narrow perspective and we're stuck and we have ruminating thoughts over and over and over again, we can really be in a physiological state of stress response. And what I realized is the cognitive behavioral therapy that we were doing at the hospital, and I'm not taking anything away from it. However, it was the same thing I did in my writing class in college. And so for me, that shifting perspective exercise can be fun. It could be challenging. And there might be times where I sit and I write and I don't even remember what I wrote. And then I go back later and look at it again. And I'm like, oh, okay, that was interesting. That's how I felt then. One of the most powerful healing things I felt is when someone else reads what I've written and I feel a sense of understanding that I'm heard, that I'm listened to. And that could be a stranger. And so it really speaks to me of this common shared human experience, this universality that we are all connected. And there are times where there is pain and there is suffering, and there's also joy and connection. And so being able to share what you're feeling in a listening way and be heard is incredibly powerful. And so that's why I love doing the writing practices as a group, as a community, and just being there for each other to listen and present without texting or thinking about what I'm going to say next. Fully listening just for listening is really the best gift you can give another person and give yourself as well.